This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Monday, April 18th, 2016, and the title of this rant is Paul Ryan and the Republicans Can't Govern, period, again. So last Friday came and went. The Republicans had clearly indicated that they were going to pass a budget resolution on the 15th. It was a deadline that they needed to meet, and it's a deadline that they did not meet. Not that that's a big thing, but what has been going on is that the Republicans have said, oh, we're going to prove that we're big boys, that we're mature, that we know how to do things, and we will have a budget resolution. Paul Ryan said that. And Mitch McConnell said that it's not going to happen. It may not even happen before the election. They might just pass a continuing resolution to keep the government funding at its current levels. But that would have to be done on September 30th. And the question is, will they be able to do it? Now, let's just go into one or two quick things. The Republicans are trying to prove that they know how to govern, and of course they're not doing it very well. The second thing is that Paul Ryan is getting squeezed by his far right Freedom Caucus or whatever they're called, and because the way it is working right now in the Republican Party, if you're not really far right and you vote for something where you're compromising with some Democrats, you're going to get primaried, meaning that someone who's further right than you is going to primary you in the next election. So that's really, really bad. But what has happened is that we're not even getting any type of governance whatsoever. And the thing about it is right now that this is what we're seeing from our Republican friends, and I don't see it changing. And the reason we don't see it changing is because of what started with Dennis Hassert, who has his own problems right now, is that he said that he would not pass anything without a majority of the majority of the House, meaning that the Republicans have to have the majority of the votes for anything to pass. Now, part of it is they want to pass everything strictly along party lines where they win. But you got the Freedom Caucus who won't let them do it. So if they want to get something passed, they're going to have to get the Democratic votes in there. And of course, if the Democrats are going to accept what they want, they're going to have to get something in return to let something pass. And then all the Democrats will vote for it, which would mean that more Democrats are voting for it than the Republicans. You know, a real shame, because back in the 1960s, the 1970s, and before, the Republicans always had that wing. They were called the crazy wing, and there were moderate Republicans and there were moderate Democrats, and they coalesced and they got a budget and they kept all the crazies out of it. Well, that can't happen anymore. And Paul Ryan, who's acting like the mature guy, the great guy, and all that other kind of stuff, you know, it's not going to happen. He's going to have this problem. He's going to end up being just like Boehner. Now, the second reason why I say that the GOP can't govern is that supposedly in a month they're going to come out with an Obamacare replacement. So they voted to renege, get rid of Obamacare at least 50 sometimes, if not 60 sometimes since it came about. And the first thing that they said after they said we're going to repeal Obamacare, every single word of it, back in 2011, was that we're going to have a replacement that's better than Obamacare. And let's fast forward for the next 5 years. They've never even come remotely close to having a replacement for Obamacare. Ryan has touted this a number of times. It's being touted again. And of course, the reason why they don't have a replacement for Obamacare is because they have to make it just as good as Obamacare is now or better, and they can't do that, and they won't do that. They will not make it better. They can only make it worse, and they know that if they actually put it on paper that they're making it worse, it'll look bad for them, especially come this election. Especially because this is a presidential election where more Democrats seem to come out and vote. So they can't govern. They can't pass a budget. They're setting themselves up for a possible shutdown in September if the way it goes. They're letting the crazies run the show. They say they want to repeal Obamacare, every single stinking word of it. At the same time, they voted against it 60 times. They don't have a replacement for it. They've never had a replacement for it. And I guarantee you, whatever the replacement that they say they have, they won't put it on paper because it'll look bad for them, especially in this election. Yeah. That's the way we run the show here on Capitol Hill.